Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Rectified Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about TikTok with the queen of trend alerts, Wyld. Wyld has helped thousands of creators and business owners grow their TikTok accounts with a content first and community approach. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to talk TikTok.
Let's start with the first question. Are trends fading on TikTok?
Ooh, that is a good question. I'm glad you asked that one. You are not scared to ask the hard questions. So I am known as the queen of trend alerts and I promote using trends. I do think that original content is really, really important in your strategy and that you should make original content more than trends. However, trends can be used really strategically. They do have a time and place, and they are maybe not as popular or they've evolved a little bit since, say 2020, but they are still really important in your content strategy, especially when it comes to sales. And I think that a lot of people just don't know how to use it strategically, which is why, where I go into in my courses, how to be more strategic with the trends.
You started a movement of trend alert style videos. You're the queen of trend alerts. Like you were the very first one, and you're branded around that theme. And even your name on TikTok is Queen of Trend Alerts. And as you said, we can still use trends strategically. But tell us a little bit more about like your background. How did you start it, and how did you end up as the queen of trend alerts?
So pre-TikTok, I was working as a personal brand photographer and creating content for entrepreneurs and business owners. So I had some knowledge in personal branding, and I also offered a bit of personal brand coaching within my photography services. And when I joined TikTok, I quickly saw that you really need a personal brand to stand out, especially if you're in a service-based business. It's a little bit different if you have a product-based business, but you definitely need something that helps you stand out. And I started to notice these trends as I was scrolling on the For You page. And I just want to make it clear that I define trends as something different than what are trending sounds. Trending sounds are super popular on TikTok and Reels, but they are just popular sounds. And in the video, you can do anything. Whereas a trend on TikTok is an action that you take in the video that also relates to a punchline of the sound. There's a combination of doing an action with a sound. So I started noticing these, and this is where I started announcing them, and I came up with a catchphrase. And I just, I saw that people were really receptive to this because essentially at the core of what it is, it's a content idea and everybody wants content ideas. So I started doing more of these and kind of branding myself with it, getting the catchphrase, and people started calling me queen in the comments. So I was like, okay, I'll just claim it and I'll call myself queen of trend alerts. And that's how it really became about.
Yeah, amazing. So you joined TikTok. Well, I discovered you, I believe, during the pandemic. Is that when you joined? And it was like the very beginning of the rise of TikTok, let's say?
Yeah, I joined, probably around February 2020. And I think I just maybe scrolled for a month. I was scared. It was such a foreign place. It felt like a bit of a circus and a whole other world. I didn't know what all the buttons meant, and it was very overwhelming. And then I finally got enough courage to start creating content. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was posting about photography stuff, personal branding, some mindset. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I started to learn very quickly just by watching videos and noticing patterns and seeing what people were doing that was effective. And that's essentially how I taught myself to create content. And I started I had a semi-viral video, and I started talking about what I was doing on TikTok with my Instagram audience, and I was getting a lot of questions and so much interest. And then it just kind of was like light bulb moment, like, hey, I have friends who are Instagram coaches. Like, why not be a TikTok coach? Like, I can help business owners use this as another social media marketing tool.
Hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. But TikTok has changed a lot, like since February
Yeah.
2020 to today. It's a completely different space. There's a lot of people. Even like at the beginning, it was more younger people. Now it's everybody. So, what are the things that you noticed throughout your journey in these past few years?
Yeah, definitely the demographics, like you said, have changed, which is awesome, which is great because it was such a thing. Like everyone was always saying, oh, it's just for kids and it's just dancing. And it's like, no, it's not. There's
Yeah.
there everything is on TikTok. I think one other thing that has changed or what's evolved is that now that we've had a few years with short form video marketing, we've kind of seen some of these video formats that have evolved and that are used to basically communicate information. And I find that really fascinating. And that's something I teach on a lot is basically how do you want to communicate a message, right? So when you get an idea for a piece of content, you think about like, how do you want to communicate that? On TikTok, talking heads are very popular styles of videos. On
Yeah.
Reels, there's some other styles. We see the what I call the character skit, when one person
Hmm.
plays, two or more characters, and that can be educational or it could be entertainment based. So that's really fascinating to kind of see how short form marketing has evolved.
Definitely. There's a very big shift that I'm seeing. Before, all the like expert coaches, gurus were like educate, entertain, inspire, everybody was about that. And today we see everybody bashing that on TikTok, and they're like, no more inspire, no more educate, no more this, no more that. Talk about pain points and agitational, I don't know what. Like there's always somebody who's creating the same thing, but I sort of feel like it's the same concept, but just using different words for it, because that's how we were creating the content before. It was,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're just using a different way of saying the same thing, I believe. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been able to take some, traditional copywriting frameworks and just turn that into short form video because essentially at the core of what short form video is, it's copywriting.
Yeah.
You're just instead of reading the words, you're saying them or
Mhm.
or it could be
Yeah.
text on screen. But yeah, the storytelling aspect I think has also really grown and is really fascinating. Different ways you can tell a story, or you can also tell stories through some of these like copywriting frameworks. There are some traditional copywriting formulas that have worked well on TikTok that I've seen in ads and that I've even used with clients, like the PASS or the PASO framework, which is pain, agitate, solution, or pain, agitate, solution, and then showing the outcome. So these do work, these copywriting formulas.
Yeah. It's very interesting to see like everything that's happening on TikTok. It's still a completely different world. Although Instagram created Reels to do something that's similar to TikTok, but the people on this platform, although they might be on both platforms, you still create differently on Instagram than on TikTok. And I find this fascinating. Let's go to the whole TikTok made me buy it
Oh gosh, yeah.
movement that's on the platform. Most of our listeners are direct to consumer brands, direct to consumer brand founders, and they want to sell their product on TikTok. I do believe that it's the place to be. I'm sure you believe that too. What's with the TikTok made me buy it, and like how can we do something to just be on that space?
Well, I think it's popular because I have really found that TikTok is a great place to build community. And, being a part of that whole hashtag or being a part of that movement. And we all see things on TikTok, right? And we get motivated to try it. And then people, of course, want to share the reviews or what they got or how it looked like. And I think this really even inspired a lot of the UGC content that's come about from all of this is like now unboxing videos are a thing.
Yeah.
because people were so responsive to this movement.
Mhm.
So I think again, it really to get into like the success of how to do that, it does come down to I think the product, and definitely
Yeah.
tapping in. It's going to help if you can tap into some influencers, uh, that will help as well. But I also wanted to mention, wasn't it fascinating that whole like de-influencing trend?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I still see people doing it and people love it. And honestly, I feel like de-influencing is still influencing,
Yes. Well,
right?
all of it, everybody who's on TikTok is influencing someone in a way or
Yes.
another, you know? But it's just not as curated as it is with like traditional influencers. It's more like be true to yourself and do anything and everything and just like be you instead of being polished and like look nice and your hair and your makeup
Yeah.
and this and that. It's a completely different world. So what can brands like which type of content can a brand do with their product to influence people on TikTok and make them buy the product?
Again, I think tapping into some influence is going to help, or some
Mm,
UGC type of content just to show that social proof. And it has to be really authentic, right? We know TikTok is an app that's built on authenticity. And I think
mhm.
brands, it took a while for them to get that, but they're
Yeah.
starting to get that now, where it's not so curated. It needs to look really real and in the moment. So
Mhm.
definitely considering that. Um, again, trends can help in some way, and really playing on also some of the hot topics
Yeah.
or things that are going on the app. There is a whole culture to TikTok, so being really aware of that. There's always some sort of drama, between, on certain sides of TikTok or between certain creators. There's
Mhm.
also, just a lot of newsworthy events. We saw how crazy it was with brands jumping on Barbie,
Yeah.
and putting their spin on that without, directly, using Barbie.
Mm.
Obviously because of Mattel and copyright and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But so you have to think about what is popular on the app, what is sort of trending, hot topics, not so much like the trends I say, but like newsworthy items, hot topics. What are other people talking about?
Mm. We definitely see a difference between the very big corporations who are still doing very traditional things.
Hmm.
And I always find myself scrolling through that. I'm like, no, this is an ad, while sometimes smaller brands have sponsored posts, but they don't feel like an ad. So I keep watching and then I realized, oh, it says sponsored in the bottom, but I didn't know that it's an ad. So I do believe that many small businesses can take advantage of that. And one way to do it, and I'm seeing it often, is when these founders are sharing their stories on the app on TikTok. They talk about, oh, today I went to sell my product to this place and they rejected me, or today I'm making this product. You know, their story, and I do believe that this is resonating a lot with the audiences on TikTok. Did you ever um, see that? Do you like this kind of thing? Do you advise people to share their story?
Absolutely. Yeah, so there is one type of video I do call the founder story. However, I don't really see that, converting to sales. I see it more as brand awareness, and that kind of top of the funnel content. But yes, sharing story is very powerful.
Yeah.
Anytime you share maybe a negative experience or a hardship, that is more likely to go viral. If you talk about, how maybe Sheen copied your design,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
gonna go
something like
viral.
that. Yeah.
So, you know, um, and I see this on TikTok all the time. Unfortunately, negativity tends to get a lot more attention
Mm,
than the positivity.
yeah.
And that's why even in a founder story, it's really common to talk about a struggle. What is it that you struggled with, and how did you overcome that with the brand?
Mm, mm,
But yeah, so just any type of storytelling will work. And everything that you do in your business could be a piece of content. It could have been your experience you had with a certain shipper. I
Mm.
saw this just recently on another video. Apparently, Canada Post has increased the rates for shipping
Yes.
product-based business, and I saw some viral videos about that from business owners who are really, really not happy with that and expressing why, how that impacts them.
Mm.
That type of video will get you more views on
Yeah.
TikTok. And again, you have to keep in mind those can be good for brand awareness. They don't always convert to sales. But if you want to just get more eyeballs on who you are and what it is that you offer, I mean, they could, but I would say
Yeah.
convert to sales down the line, but directly, maybe not. And remember one thing about going viral, and I think I saw this on your social media the other day. You posted about this, and I love this. Is
Mm.
that going viral, right? Is typically it's. I know a lot of brands want to go viral, and yes, there are some good reasons for it. But I don't know how many times I've had people come to me and say, "Oh my gosh, we went viral on TikTok and they got a huge spike in sales." And then it just immediately crashed and like no more
Yeah.
sale.
Yeah.
So, and then it was just completely done. And then they struggled and struggled again till they got another type of video that got them sales. And it's very up and down and very frustrating. And
Mm.
it's it's hard to deal with. So it's better to not focus on like trying to go viral with every video and recognize that you want to go viral for the right reasons because you're showcasing how your product does a really unique thing. That's
Yeah.
going to sell it more than a video where you're, maybe trash talking some other brand.
Mm. So you talked about founder stories being like top of the funnel. And then we have to take people through the customer journey, through the funnels that we always talk
Mhm.
about. What kind of other types of videos they can create so that they can convert with that? So they attract with their story, with their experiences, etc. But then what can they do to move people through the journey and then make them buy it mainly?
Sure. So you really, in the middle of the funnel, you really want to create community. You want to nurture your audience. One of the best ways to do that on TikTok is through live streaming.
Mm.
And using TikTok stories. And these are two features that I see a lot of, product-based business owners are not using or not leveraging. You have to remember like Instagram, right? It has all these features. We have reels, we have the grid posts, right? They go live.
Yes.
There's Instagram stories. TikTok has these features too. It's not just about posting videos. We also have TikTok stories. I love TikTok stories because they primarily go to your followers, which is your warm audience. So those are great
Mm.
places to encourage sales.
Do we use stories like on Instagram, or is there a different way of using it on TikTok?
It's pretty much the same way. You don't get things like clickable links, although, we
Yeah.
always say in Instagram, those aren't that beneficial anyways, because none of these apps want people to leave the app, but they are a great way to, speak to your community, to your followers. Remember in your videos, you want to appeal to the For You page, to people who
Yeah.
don't know you. Your TikTok stories are primarily going to people who do already know you.
Mm.
So they're like that warm audience. They're your followers. The thing with TikTok stories, though, is that you need to get a lot of engagement on them to get more people to see them. So you want to use things like polls and asking them to comment and make it more of a question to get more of that engagement so more people see that video.
Yeah. Can people see it just like a regular TikTok video? Like, does it appear on other people's For You page, or
Yeah,
is it
I
just for
see
your followers?
stories on
Uh,
the For You page and the following page. Yeah.
yes.
And then, of course, you also see them when you visit a person's profile.
Mm.
You can see them as well.
Yeah, obviously. You talked about live streaming, and I see a lot of brands, they show their products on, live, etc. I do
Mhm.
not sell a product, I do sell services, but I tried to go live just to test it out on TikTok, and it was so weird. I don't know if it's only me or if it's the situation with other people, but I got just people commenting on my accent and like, like very weird stuff. And nothing was like, there were no like real comments. Do you think whether it's a service like me or a product based, we go on live. Do you think um, we should try and wait to have like a bigger audience to go on lives so that we have the right community of people, attract the right type of people to get the right questions, and talk to them and answer them? Like, how do we go about these lives? Because my experience was weird and I still have like some sort of PTSD from going
Oh,
live
no.
on TikTok.
Yeah, go live streaming on TikTok is really varied. There's a lot of different creators doing different things, and some of them are really silly because they're monetizing for gifts and
Yeah.
various different strange things. I don't know if you've ever seen the guy. Like, well, there's you don't even see who the person is, but he just has like a flat iron, like, hair straightener, and they just has a popcorn kernel in there and it just pops popcorn. That's
Oh,
all
I've
the live
never
stream
seen
is.
that. Okay.
Or I don't know, I'm fascinated by this live. We're getting a little bit off topic. I'll bring it back in
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
where it's a camera around a cat's neck and it's just a point of view of the camera and like the cat just
Oh,
walks around and you get to see what the world looks like from
for a
the
cat.
camera's perspective from the cat's perspective. So there's a lot of different things going on live. But for business owners, as soon as you have the ability to go live, which is generally 1,000
Yeah.
followers, you should be going live. But you have to understand that the success with live streaming doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to build that community. So you really need to live stream consistently on a regular basis. So if that's once a week on Monday nights, fine, be consistent with that. If you can do more, great. But just have a consistent regular schedule. And then when you're
Mm,
live streaming and you're talking to people, letting them know, I am here every Monday night. This is what we're
mm.
doing. A
Yeah.
lot of product-based sellers are well, some people are making their products. I know a woman who makes children's clothes. She's on live stream all day. She just sets it up while she's, making
Yeah.
clothes. And other people are doing it while they are, packaging orders, that type of thing. You see a lot of artists
Mm,
creating work while they're live streaming. And if you have a product-based business that, you're not actually making it, you can still go on live and talk about your business or showcase your products and talk about what you do in your business and your mission
mm.
and your why, and sell it that way. And people will do things like have the little numbered sign above their head with like how many sales they've made. They do incentives, they pin the intro. There's a little intro area where that you
Yes.
can pin and you can say like use code a certain code for 15% off just for this live or this certain live stream you get uh whatever free shipping or something like that, incentives to get people to buy. But you
Yeah.
have to be consistent. And when you start out, yes, there might only be 2 or 5 people there. You have to keep going and not give up. It's a strategy that community doesn't happen overnight.
Mm. Yeah.
It takes patience and it takes a lot of work, but if you can be consistent, it will develop over time and you'll really find your fans, the people who will come to all your lives, who love you, who buy your stuff, who recommend you. So it's one of the best ways to build community.
Mm. So, top of the funnel, your story, founder story, middle of the funnel, sort of live streaming stories, these convert really well. And then what else can we do to like really seal the deal?
Yeah, well, there's also one type of content that I recommend for all my product-based accounts when I'm creating a content strategy for them. And this is a pillar of content I just call product features. And it's a way of
Mm,
showcasing your product without directly selling it. So again, you're showing how it's used, how maybe it's not used. You're, showing how it's packaged, how it's made, where you even get the supplies from to make it. Like, where do you
mm.
go? You go shopping to Michael's to pick up these things. So it's again kind of featuring your product and showcasing all these things about it without like directly saying like, "Hey, go buy it." Right?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
my body scrub. Go buy it now.
Yeah. From your experience, is it true that people on TikTok don't like call to actions? Like they don't like buy this, follow that, Is it true that I keep hearing this thing, but I don't have proof? about it?
I feel like you have to experiment and see what works best for you. I don't use a lot of call to actions in my on my account. Some of my businesses they do and some of them don't.
Yeah.
I believe that, people, if they really, want to follow you, if they found value or if they like you, like they will do, they'll do it without you having to say follow or like or comment
Mm,
or share or buy or all of those things. They will do
yeah.
it. I mean, one of the things I'm really big on with the smaller business is that, you have to be the face of the brand. You need to get people to relate to you, feel like they have something in common with you. And I've done this as well. I've purchased from small business owners because I just really like them. I feel like we would be friends in real life and I want to support them. And what they're selling is really cute and I like it. So I buy it. Right. So
Yeah.
that's really important for those smaller businesses to show up as the face of your brand. You can't hide behind, tutorials or those time lapse videos or just doing
Yeah.
voiceover kind of stuff. You do
Mm,
have to show up and you have to get people to like you.
yeah. So the small business owners who wants to be on TikTok and use it as a platform for their marketing has to be ready to show themselves, because if you don't show yourself and who you are, people just don't relate. This is not like Instagram. You may get away with it on Instagram, do reels of your product, time lapses, etc. But on TikTok, what you're saying is that it's very important to every, like, not in every single video, but in some of the videos, to show
Yeah.
yourself, tell your story, just let them connect with you like a human to human.
Exactly. You have to showcase
Mm,
your personality. That's another reason why the trends are good to have a little fun, be silly sometimes, and be really personable and human and connect. It's a
mm,
huge part of the culture of that app.
yeah. There's a trend that I'm seeing a lot with product based businesses. I personally don't like it much, but it seems that it's effective. And I'm seeing that people are using the sound of my business is failing and I really about to shut down or something like that. And then they create like this, vlog style thing with that sound. And then everybody's like, oh my God, I just bought from you. Oh my God, I just bought from you. And I feel like it's the same as having a video go viral, because today they're going to buy from you. But tomorrow they're going to say, oh no, we bought from her. She succeeded. Now she has money or something like that. What do you think? Have you seen it, first of all?
Yeah, I saw those a while ago. I haven't seen them as recently, but I'm sure you're more attentive to exactly what
Yeah.
product-based businesses owners are doing. I see a really wide variety of stuff. I
Yeah.
do remember those videos and I don't like them either because I always say to people like you want to empower the person to buy. You don't want to guilt trip them into buying. Like
Yeah.
that's not a good feeling. Like the energy that you're putting out there begging for sales, you want to again empower the person to buy
Mhm.
from you consistently,
Yes.
not once because you kind of gave a sob story,
Yeah.
which we don't even know is true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Um,
what I was thinking about. So,
yeah, and that's where, being a mindful consumer comes in as well, because I do see a lot of people on social media who will say anything or kind of do anything to get more views or more sales that I would not consider ethical. And
mm,
it is really frustrating.
yeah. The last piece of trend, since you're the trend queen, the last piece of trend that we're going to talk about is the CapCut trends.
Oh, yeah.
What's with the CapCut trends? They're very easy to make. The templates are there and everything. But what do you think about them? And should we use it? And how much should we use it, etc.?
I think, yeah, they are popular for one thing because they are so easy to make and you don't have to show up on camera. You can
Yeah.
make a piece of content in like a minute. I think they're okay to use once in a while, right? To play into maybe a certain trend, again, very strategically. However, I think they're not as popular as they used to be. I
Mm.
remember when I used to scroll in my For You page, like every video, like at least every second video was a CapCut
Yes.
template. I don't see them as popular
Mm.
anymore. And it's almost like nowadays someone there's a trend or something goes viral and then they immediately make a CapCut template out of it. And it kinda just doesn't become as fun
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And, you see the same ones and then it's really repetitive and I tend to scroll through a lot of them now. So I
Mm.
think they're not as popular, but you can always, again, use them strategically for, again, like maybe sales
Mm.
or showcasing, um, your personality. But yeah, I wouldn't rely on them too much.
Yeah. So mainly to summarize this and tell me if I got this right, we need to have a mix of everything. We need to have some trends and fun stuff to attract people to our accounts. And then we need to have more serious stuff and show our products or our services to have them more engaged with what we have and then convert eventually. Have that like know, like, and trust factor sort of happening. So we need to have a mix of everything
Mhm.
and sprinkle the trends around that serious stuff in order for us to build the account and then get, the sales that we wish, because at the end of the day, we all want to sell.
Yes, absolutely. It's like thinking of TikTok like the sales funnel, right? So I always say this, you want to make content for each part of the funnel, right? That
Hmm.
top of mind, that awareness content that's really focused on growing your audience, and then that middle of the funnel where they start to get to know you, you are building that community, you're nurturing, building that know, like, and trust factor. And then you also need to make content that does promote a certain thing, that
Yeah.
promotional content at the bottom of the funnel to get people to take
Hmm.
action. So don't be, scared. If you have a sale coming up, you can make a video saying, there's this, hyping up your sale, it's a limited time type of thing. Always keep in mind the algorithm, though, is
Yeah.
quite slower on TikTok. So if you have a 24-hour sale, might not work as well. Might want to consider extend that to 48, 72 hours. So let the algorithm give it time
Yeah.
for people to see that. Just one thing to
Mm.
consider with that type of really timely type of content.
Mm. Perfect. We're at the end of this episode, and I usually like to ask three questions at the end of every episode. They're the same questions. You can answer them as quickly as possible. Are you ready?
Okay.
So, how would your friends describe what you do for a living?
I don't think they know what I do. I don't know. TikTok expert, I guess.
TikTok expert. Perfect. So, what is one thing that your program or your coaching sessions did for one of your clients that's surprising you didn't expect, but it was very nice?
Oh my gosh. Well, she did 500,000 in product sales in 2022. Um,
Ooh.
so it changed her life. That's what I love about TikTok. It can change people's lives. So that
Hmm.
was very surprising. And then her goal for 2023 is 1 million in sales from TikTok. That's all organic. All organic.
Perfect. I love hearing these stories that social media
Mhm.
actually works if you really do the
Yeah.
work. I know I'm not doing that on TikTok, but I should. It's in my plan to do it
Uh-huh.
again. Question number three: is there a book that changed your life or gave you like an aha moment that you would recommend to our audience?
Oh my gosh. Well, first thing that comes to mind is a mindset book. Because, as a business owner, mindset is so huge. And this one is by Byron Katie,
Okay.
and it's called Loving What Is. It
All right.
helps a lot to put things in perspective when you're having a hard time.
Maybe maybe we should all read that, because entrepreneurship is like, the roller coaster of sometimes it's not good, sometimes it's working. So
Yeah.
yeah. So if tell us where they can find you and how they can work with you.
Of course. So you can follow me on social, which is my name at Wyld, TikTok, Instagram, really just everywhere. My website, wavewild.com, has more information on how you can work with me. I have both a membership and consulting. So those are probably the best places. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Wave, for being a guest on the podcast. And to all listeners, I'll be back next week with a new episode.